Wow, thank you, Abe. Good morning, Minneapolis. Good morning. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today, for joining us in person, from online, and from every single corner of our great city. At a time when Washington headlines often sow division and uncertainty, it's easy to lose faith in government. But here in Minneapolis, our job isn't to create chaos or fear, it's to deliver. Here we move beyond slogans. We provide results. Our job is to get things done. And by doing that, we prove that local government can work. And importantly, that democratic cities can work. Now, we're not naive about the challenges ahead. We know there's a whole lot more to do. But we're not waiting on someone else to step in. We're doing the work. We're leading. And in a time when people expect less from their government, we are showing up to make sure that everybody recognizes what's possible. The state of our city is strong and growing stronger by the day. Look no further than everything happening around Minneapolis these last couple of weekends. Our city is alive. Whether it was a festival or a gala, a block party or a birthday, people were out celebrating their neighborhood, celebrating each other, and they're believing in our city. We're rebuilding neighborhoods, not just with concrete and lumber, but with trust and with partnership. And we're governing in a way that is honest, in a way that is results-driven. And so even as dysfunction in other levels of government, we can establish excellence here in the city of Minneapolis. So let's not mirror the madness. Let's not respond to outrage with more outrage. Let's counter Donald Trump, not with our own brand of chaos, but with our own brand of collaboration. Let's show that unity is possible and remind the country what government looks like when it works, when we show up. Lifted by idealism while grounded in reality. We won't agree on everything, but we can agree on a whole lot more. And we can agree to recognize each other's good work even when we don't see eye to eye. And so I'll start. Councilmember Robin Wansley believes that strong cities protect the unheard. She has been an extraordinarily powerful advocate for working people, fighting to make sure they're not left behind. As someone who has succeeded through education, she wants to make sure others have that same opportunity. Give her a round of applause. Councilmember Jason Chavez knows that our immigrant neighbors are part of what makes our city beautiful, and he cares deeply about his ward, in which we have a number of shared projects that benefit our shared constituents. He understands the environmental harms that have been done, and he's passionate about working to fix them. Give him a round of applause. The bottom line here is that every one of us in this city has a role to play. My administration, our council members, climate advocates, police officers, spiritual leaders, and small businesses, all playing their part for the residents of Minneapolis. Different roles, same damn team. And that's our team. That's our city, cooperating, toiling, and yes, occasionally arguing. But above all, we do the noble work of good governance for this city, and we do it damn well. This is the essence of local democracy. Imperfect, sometimes messy, but always marching ahead and always making progress. We may not control the world or the White House, but here in Minneapolis, I promise you, we got your back. We're here to respond to your emergency calls, We're here to clear your streets. We're here to pick up your trash and support and protect our immigrant families, not just in words, but in court. And we saw just a couple of weeks ago when a judge ruled in our favor and blocked Donald Trump from targeting cities that don't uphold his agenda. The law is on our side, and we're going to win. And we stand with our immigrant neighbors and entrepreneurs in partnership. And Abe Damaj is that Minneapolis dream personified. After migrating here from Ethiopia like 30 years ago, he worked hard to start a business right here on Lake Street. That business became successful, and ever since, Abe has been an inspiration and a mainstay on this corridor. And as you heard earlier, his business was nearly lost in the 2020 unrest and pandemic. But Abe doesn't give up. He comes back. He believed in Minneapolis. He believed in himself. He believed in our collective communities. And he made it his mission to help and revitalize this exceptional community right here. And this is one of many results. And with the city's Developer Technical Assistance Program, Ownership and Opportunity Fund, and a whole lot of community support, Abe realized a dream. And today we're standing in that dream realized, the Abyssinia Center, with several local business owners, including some that will be the next Abe Damaj. And they themselves are going to achieve that beautiful Minneapolis dream. That dream, felt here in Uptown and across the city, is built through a direct correlation between hard work and success, with a local government that's along on the ride for the journey. And this is what it looks like when local government works, when people feel safe in their homes, on their streets, and in their neighborhoods. That's when cities succeed. There's nothing more fundamental than your right to be safe and to feel safe. And in 2025, we're not just talking about safety, we're working to cultivate it. Over the last several months, the data shows that Minneapolis is becoming safer. Violent crime is down, carjackings are down, gun violence is down, and homicides are down. And this progress is the result of a coordinated, data-driven effort across our Office of Community Safety, uniting police, firefighters, 911, violence prevention teams, and communities partners around a common goal. These trends matter, but progress can be fragile. Just this past week, we saw horrific gun violence that took the lives of far too many. Arrests have been made, and there are more to come. But weeks like this underscore the importance of strong partnerships, both internally in the city enterprise and also with other jurisdictions, and then also to have the urgency of rebuilding and strengthening our police force, and we are. We're recruiting and hiring like never before. MPD applications are up 135%. For the first time in years, we ended 2024 with more officers than we started with, including 76 new sworn positions added and 22 laterals. And we're on track to exceed those numbers this year, anticipating more than 600 sworn officers, a staffing level that we haven't seen in years. Here's a factoid for you. Our department is also more diverse than ever, now with the highest percentage of minority officers on record. It's a signal that our transformation is taking hold, and people want to be part of this change. And the stories, they prove it. Take F. Snyder, a longtime small business owner in Minnesota. For years, he's considered law enforcement officers among his close friends. And as he approached early retirement, he realized he still had something more to give. So he joined the Minneapolis Police Department, committing to serve for the next 5 years, helping us close the recruitment gap and rebuild trust within our department. Then there's Maimuna Saeed, She grew up in a small Minnesota town and knew early on that she wanted to be a police officer, specifically to serve vulnerable communities. Before entering law enforcement, she worked in crisis response, risk assessment, and community care. That's a resume for you. And after positive encounters with MPD officers, she knew this was the right department and the right mission for her. We built a public safety team that includes leaders across departments working together to respond to and prevent crime. That's why when our public safety experts tell us what they need, we listen. We can't expect officers to prevent, investigate, and arrest without adequate staffing. Today, we still have fewer officers per capita than most any major city in the United States. And while we're making progress, it's worth noting that 45% of those new applications last year came through a recruitment campaign that was cut. Again, we need to listen to expert recommendations, and my hope is that in this coming budget we will do so. So, as we enter this tough budget cycle, as we search for collaboration, as we focus on investments that matter most to our residents, that also means giving our safety teams collectively the tool that they need to save lives and make sure that our neighborhoods are secure. Because safety isn't just about law enforcement. It's also about relationships, problem properties, housing, and health. It's about using data to drive outcomes, and we're doing just that. Through our performance management and innovation team, we've developed nearly 400 key metrics. That means we're not guessing, we're measuring. We're not reacting, we're anticipating. These metrics help us take a more comprehensive approach to public safety because we know that true safety is multifaceted. Metrics guide how we respond to crime, yes, but also how we prevent it and how we build trust along the way. Our Minneapolis Fire Department continues to deliver that same commitment, responding to emergencies, no matter the conditions. In March, at 3 a.m., in a snowstorm with 40-mile-an-hour winds, I have a feeling they might be exaggerating a little bit in this one, 45 firefighters responded to a 3-alarm fire in a vacant South Side building. They saved 2 neighboring homes with residents inside, preventing serious injury and major damage. We thank them for their efforts. And speaking of emergency response, our 911 center is now fully staffed for the first time since 2020, answering calls. They're answering calls 10% faster. And by the way, we're also delivering on accountability. You may have heard about the backlog of police conduct review cases in our Civil Rights Department. How many of you have heard about it? As of today, 73% of that backlog is clear, and we're on track. And we are on track to clear it all together in the matter of months. This isn't just lip service. We're getting results. And next year, we're going to open the Southside Community Safety Center, bringing together a multitude of safety services under one roof and making it easier for residents to access the right kind of help when they need it most. And we're also implementing the reforms in our state settlement agreement and federal consent decree. And we're making real progress. Our first status report highlighted the strong foundation we've created and the necessary investments that we've put towards compliance. Our second report, coming soon, will show the tremendous progress we've made, including use of force, crisis intervention, and more. So, to those who've called for police reform, to those who've protested, testified, organized, and demanded better, thank you. Your advocacy is being translated into real action. We are partners together in this work. And this is what happens when people engage, when local government listens. It's not easy, it's not fast, but it's working. Providing excellent government services also means providing people a foundation, a home. And in Minneapolis, our housing work leads the entire nation. Since 2018, we've increased production of deeply affordable housing by 8.5 times. That's not just more housing in name, it's more homes indeed, built for the people that need them most. We've funded more than 4,700 new affordable housing units since 2018, an average of 650 units a year. That's more than 4 times the annual average from the 7 years prior. And we've backed up our values with real investment, multiplying our support for the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority by 5 times, bringing annual funding to $5 million a year. That means critical repairs to family homes, bringing long vacant units back online, and fueling the largest public housing rehabilitation project in our city's history. These aren't just numbers. They're homes for real families, and this investment, it's paying off. Minneapolis is one of the only cities in the country where rent growth has stayed below the rate of inflation. In fact, we're among the first cities in the U.S. to get inflation below 2%, in large part because we've added more housing supply at the right time and in the right places. This didn't happen by accident. It happened because we planned for it with the Minneapolis 2040 plan. By allowing more housing types in more neighborhoods, especially along transit routes, we've already approved over 1,000 new homes on lots that previously allowed only single-family and two-family housing. But our work isn't just about building. It's about supporting families, especially our students. And through our collective Stable Homes, Stable Schools program, we've helped over 6,200 students and their families with housing stability since launching the initiative in 2019. That's right. And in collaboration with so many partners and our city council, we are now at every Minneapolis public elementary school in Minneapolis. One of those students, a young boy who was living in a car with his mom, a car that didn't lock, making it not only uninhabitable, but entirely unsafe. The boy was struggling in school, acting out, shutting down. But through Stable Homes, Stable Schools, his mom was connected to rental assistance and to a place to live. And over time, students' behavior started to improve. He started opening up, focusing more, making friends at school. Because with a stable home, he could finally show up at school as himself. But as you know, our work doesn't stop there. We've made significant progress in reducing encampments and connecting individuals to permanent housing and shelter. Over the past several months, working with our partners at Hennepin County and our community partners, we have expanded shelter access, taken decisive steps to prevent encampments from forming. Today, the number of encampments in the city is down dramatically, while other cities across the country are seeing more and more people sleeping on the street. We continue to see steady reduction of unsheltered homelessness year over year, now down 33% from 2020. And thanks to our homeless response team, thank you to our county and the partners that are in this room with us. We have now helped more than 270 people transition into stable housing and services just in the last few months. And we've seen emergency calls related to encampments drop by 80%. All this, it adds up to a safer, stronger Minneapolis, because we know that safe, stable housing is the foundation for everything else. Better health, stronger neighborhoods, and more opportunity. By the way, creating opportunity doesn't just happen. These programs, they cost money, and they're paid for through a growing and evolving city. Growth can be seen when we passed $1 billion in construction value for the 14th year in a row. Evolution can be seen right here, over in Uptown, an area in the heart of transformation. Working together and focusing on safety and small businesses, we're going to get the job done for Uptown. In the next year, we're adding targeted business support, arts grants, and additional law enforcement to the area. And I want to make you two promises about the future of these neighborhoods. First, you'll start to see the buds of progress this summer. You may already have. And when you see those buds, when you see those new businesses opening their doors, don't just go to them once to feel good. Go to them often. Make it a habit. Go to the Uptown Theater regularly. Go to Mosaic Coffee regularly. Hang out in your neighborhood. Go to Munamono regularly. Hang out and love your city and do everything possible that you can with your hard-earned dollars to invest in it. The second promise is this. Uptown's evolution won't happen as quickly as any of us would like. It won't be reactivated with one big burst, but a series of little bursts that generate momentum. And those bursts will each individually and on the collective make us proud. And that work, and you'll see it this summer, is already underway. This year, we launched a new corridor-specific strategy for West Lake Street, crafted with input from local businesses, artists, and residents. The goal is simple: make it safe and help small businesses succeed. You can already see that vision coming to life. Public art is being installed across the area. We're hosting new events, including Open Streets on Hennepin in September. And we just announced that dance education is coming back to every public elementary school in MPS and every park and rec building, including right here in Uptown. Because creative opportunity is part of economic inclusion too. And through our Ownership and Opportunity Fund, we've helped more than 25 entrepreneurs, some right here, purchase their buildings and own the underlying real estate. That's almost $13 million going directly into historically disinvested neighborhoods, creating lasting wealth. This funding went to entrepreneurs like Hamilton Murcia of El Guanaco Bakery and Cafe. After years of baking in El Salvador and dreaming big, his family has opened a thriving business here with nearly $300,000 in city support. And then there's our cultural district's funding, which has helped bring back neighborhoods to life. On a freezing morning, East Lake Street became a gallery of stories. And that's when Eric Geiger, better known as Hot Tea, installed a piece called Stories in a vacant lot, stringing 9,000 strands of yarn across the space. Each one of them was inspired by a local voice. People came out, neighbors, passers-by, families. They stood in the cold to see their stories waving in the wind. They talked, they reconnected, and that once forgotten lot became a living memory. And with Lake Street Lift Initiative, backed by $8 million from the state and the Graves Foundation, assistance from the Minneapolis Foundation, we're bringing new life to the corridor with events, with marketing, technical support for a ton of different small businesses. This is what it looks like when local government steps up. This is what it looks like when our city works. And this work, it doesn't stop at Lake Street, on the north side. It's time to retire the tired narrative that that community isn't safe. That's right. The north side is alive and it is brimming with talent. The truth is, the north side is safer than it's been in more than a decade. In 2024, we saw the lowest number of gunshot victims since 2014. Who remembers Winter Gas Station? Known as one of the most dangerous parts of the whole city, referred to as Murder Station. With the presence of drug trade, gang violence, some trash, there were 38 people that were shot in that area in 2021 alone. This past year, there was just one. I'm not saying we're there yet, but 38 then and 1 this last year, we're making progress. And that kind of progress is not an accident. It's the result of deep coordination, both internally and externally. It's working directly with our neighbor partners on the north side. It's working with officers, the city, the county, the state, the Attorney General's office, and the U.S. Attorney's office. But public safety isn't just about getting bad activity out. It's about bringing the good activity in. And that's exactly what we're doing with our partners at the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board, bringing fun, safe, and accessible recreation back where it belongs in our parks. And we're not stopping at basketball and soccer and track. At Spark Studios in the Harrison Recreation Center, young people are producing music, designing clothes, gaming, building futures in real time, doing all sorts of stuff that, to be honest with you, I don't even completely understand, but they're doing it, and it's in the rec centers. Young people aren't just learning skills. They're using those skills to lead. Take Ellis. They saw a gap in the world and decided to fill it with good news. Ellis created the Little Things podcast, a show that highlights the positive stories happening across the globe. And they edit, produce, and record the entire thing all by themselves. Take Luis, the first multi-instrumentalist to record and complete a full song from scratch at the Powderhorn Studio. Guitar, bass, vocals. I don't even know how you do that, but he performed every single bit of it himself. That's the kind of creativity and leadership Spark Studios is sparking all across our city. And by this fall, 5 studios will be up and running across the city. On the north side, we're thinking big with things like Upper Harbor Terminal, transforming the city's the north side's relationship with the Mississippi. What was once a fenced-off kind of industrial site is a beautiful park, and we're creating housing, commercial space, and a brand-new performing arts center led by First Avenue. And on Plymouth Avenue, V3 Sports is reimagining what community investment looks like. With $1 million in city support, they've opened a world-class facility, which includes an Olympic-sized pool, fitness spaces for families, and locally owned Soul Bowl restaurant that's right on site. This is how cities can succeed, by investing in safety and services, by uplifting neighborhoods, and creating opportunity where it's long been denied. North Side is rising, and we're rising with it. Just like on the north side, downtown Minneapolis is showing what's possible when local government gets the fundamentals right. The progress is real, and you can feel it. Through our Downtown Action Plan, we're reactivating our city's core, making Nicollet Mall more walkable, energizing the warehouse district, and converting empty spaces into new homes. We've tripled the reach of our Vibrant Storefronts program, subsidizing rent, transforming vacant spaces into hubs of creativity, and giving artists and entrepreneurs a real shot at success. We're opening new restaurants, hosting some of the biggest events in the country, and in fact, Minneapolis has led the nation in downtown recovery post-pandemic. And with the T-Wolves' victory tonight, I have a feeling that that recovery is going to continue. Nearly 70% of downtown workers are back at least once a week. By the way, please keep it coming. But this isn't just about getting people back. It's about making sure that people stay. Last year, our downtown residential population surpassed 60,000 people for the first time ever. How many of you have heard of Edina? There are more people living in downtown Minneapolis. How many of you have heard of Minnetonka? There are more people living in downtown Minneapolis. What about St. Louis Park, You guessed it. Apple Valley, Shakopee, Moorhead, you get the idea. All great spots. And there are more people living in downtown. So, the next time that someone tells you that downtown is dead and nobody lives there, ask them where they're from. Odds are more people live in downtown than in their entire city. And so from uptown to the north side to downtown, we're putting on a full court press. When we say that democratic cities work, this is what we mean. It's a government that gets the basics right and still has the capacity to lead boldly. Over the past year, we've deepened our commitment to both community health and climate resilience. And in Minneapolis, we know you can't have one without the other. So let's start with climate. At the City of Minneapolis, we did more to combat climate change in 2024 than the last 10 years combined. We've quadrupled participation in the Green Cost Share program, supporting more than 1,000 pollution reduction projects that have helped residents and businesses cut energy costs and shrink their carbon footprint. And just last week, we broke ground on a first-in-the-nation city-owned biochar facility, an innovative way to remove carbon from the air, reduce waste, and improve our soil and urban canopy. I didn't even know what biochar was a couple of years ago. Now we're literally leading the nation. And as Trump tries to resuscitate a dying coal industry, we know our future is still green here in Minneapolis. Partnering with labor, our unions, and our community, we've trained more than 1,000 people in emergency HVAC, renewable energy, and energy-efficient work. At the Minneapolis Convention Center, a new energy agreement has cut our carbon footprint by 85%. That's real, measurable progress. We're investing in clean air, clean water, and clean energy, reducing over 12,000 tons of pollution in the last year and on track to save residents $300 million in lifetime savings. I had to check that one because it was so unbelievable. $300 million in lifetime savings while ensuring every neighborhood sees the benefits. And public health is no different. Our health department recently became reaccredited through the National Public Health Accreditation, raising standards, improving coordination, and strengthening outcomes across the board. We're launching Minneapolis' first ever mobile medical unit, delivering everything from addiction care to wellness checks to the neighborhoods that need them most. This is what it looks like when a city takes care of both its people and its planet, and is what it means to deliver results that truly matter. At the heart of good governance is the simple truth. People need to see, feel, and trust the work that we do, not just in theory, but in practice. And I actually want to take a minute to read one of the letters that I got from a student. It just kind of gives you an idea of how communities can work together, about how we can partner through the most difficult of circumstances, and how we can be inspired by the words of young people. And in this case, and this is not even part of the speech, but I was inspired by our incredible poet laureate. This is a letter from Imogene. I'm going to read portions of it. It just happens to be the very first one in the packet. It says, "Hi, I'm 12. I notice a lot of things, like the fact that Minneapolis has an amazing community, and there are people that would love every opportunity to help, to raise money that don't have everything that they need to thrive. You could organize, spelled with an S, not a Z. You could host a fundraiser for homeless shelters. You could ask for donations. We could also take inspiration from a number of other communities and have more community gardens. Thank you. Also, better school lunch. All fair points. I mean, these are things that really impact people's day-to-day lives, and that is what it is so beautiful about the work that we have the opportunity to do at the city. We impact people's day-to-day. It's not just these big, grandiose, inspirational ideas that may or may not come true in 5 or 10 years. We make decisions, we invest in programs, we invest in communities where at times you can see the results tomorrow. You can help people's walk to school, maybe improve the school lunches a little bit, help people who are experiencing homelessness find a home. That's what city government does, because we don't operate in hypotheticals. We operate in reality. We build trust by meeting expectations. And we build expectations by delivering on the basics. And here's the reality. In 2024 alone, here are a few examples of the things that we've delivered. More than 2,000 potholes filled. 44,500 permits issued. More than $43,000 in back wages recovered for underpaid workers. Care for more than 3,400 animals in our city. Over 261,000 311 calls received and responded to. And our 911 system is now faster and more responsive than ever, thanks to a smarter triage and targeted training. We're hiring faster too, processing and filling jobs nearly 2 months ahead of the national average, getting talent in the door and results out on the street. By the way, this wasn't necessarily the case a few years ago, but this is yet another indication that we're seeing progress, and Minneapolis is now one of only about 20 cities in the country to receive a AAA credit rating from all 3 major agencies. That means strong fiscal stewardship, smart budgeting, and long-term financial strength. We're also making government more accessible, rolling out new digital tools for permitting, licensing, expanding language access for critical services, and securing labor agreements that raise wages, improve retention, and strengthen support for our city's workers. So Minneapolis, when we say that cities can work, this is what we mean. From our neighborhoods, uptown to the north side, from northeast to the south side, Minneapolis is showing the country what's possible when local government does its job. To our city workers, thank you. Thank you for your tireless efforts for stepping up each and every day. To our elected officials, to our council members, county commissioners, park board commissioners, state representatives, and Board of Estimate and Taxation, and everybody else who I will be apologizing to after this speech is over. Thank you. Thank you deeply for your collaboration. And to the residents of this city, thank you for your trust, for your partnership, and your shared belief in this city's future. We're in this together, and the work has only begun. In the years ahead, we're going to build on the foundation that we've created. We're going to be strategic in finding every efficiency to make sure that your hard-earned tax dollars are both well spent and well saved. We're going to use every tool to make our streets safer and continue to bring in new community-oriented police officers to our department. We're going to build more housing for people that need homes. And we're going to partner with our local business owners so that they can run with a great idea. We're opening the doors on projects that will breathe new life into neighborhoods, like the new Nicollet project, reconnecting our city, by the way, after 30 years of being closed. And we're moving forward with a democracy center at the site of the former 3rd Precinct, helping us maintain our position as the votingest city in the entire country. But most importantly, we're going to provide core government services, and we're going to provide them well. That's right. I love that that's an applause line. And so, in a time when dysfunction at the federal level grabs the headlines, When trust in government feels too far gone, look here, look local, look to the people that are building trust block by block, to the policies rooted in compassion, to the city that shows democracy not as an ideal but as a daily practice. We fix the street, we house the families, we fund the future, we deliver. Because local government matters, because when cities lead, people rise. And here in Minneapolis, we don't just say it, we live it. We got your back. Our great city is rising. Thank you so much. Thank you.